So now there is this belief, I've read multiple stories on this, that Denver is the number one team for Aaron Rodgers. That's the number one team. Like, it's understood. They have the pieces, they have the draft picks, and they're in a division with great quarterbacks. And in fact, when Mark Schlereth went on the air right before the draft and said Denver, Mark's a very popular talk show host in Denver, Denver has the best package for him, Aaron did not dismiss it. Aaron DM'd Mark Schlereth. He didn't say you were wrong. He said, let's get lunch soon. Where'd you hear that? And Schlereth said, somebody that has really good contacts that has never been wrong. And so there is this sense Green Bay is just going to get a cachet, a truckload of great picks. I don't think that's true. And for anybody going after Aaron, there's a lot of red flags here. First of all, Denver's general manager, George Paton, is a first-year general manager replacing Elway. He's not getting fired. GM for Green Bay could get fired, but George Paton can strike a hard bargain, even if they finish fourth. Vic Fangio's out, not the general manager. So he doesn't have any inside pressure in Denver. They're going to defend him to the end. Brian Gutekunst in Green Bay got a lot of heat. But I want you to think about the red flags with Aaron. How much would Green Bay get back? Let's do the ABCs of Aaron's issues. He's already gotten a head coach fire. A. Doesn't help him on the market. Some teams just don't want that. He's now working on getting a general manager fired. B. C. He missed half of 2 seasons with an injury. D. He got hurt in week 1 against the Bears and played hurt another year. E. He's expensive. F. He's old, 37. And G. Tom Brady's going to be looking at film in the offseason. He's going to be hosting Jeopardy. Aaron's got a lot of non-football interest going on in his life. Listen, Denver wants him, but should strike an incredibly hard bargain. And by the way, Aaron Rodgers should be rooting for it. What you don't want is when Carmelo Anthony announced, I'm going to be a Knick, and the Denver Nuggets had to trade him. But because Carmelo said, I refuse to play here, the Knicks had to give everything up to get Carmelo. Denver had all the leverage, and Carmelo ended up being a very expensive chandelier in a house with no furniture. Aaron Rodgers has to be careful, because what he doesn't want to do is go to Denver, and they've given up their number 2 receiver. They've given up 6 draft picks. What Aaron wants to do is go to a franchise that maybe gives up a couple of first-round picks, but doesn't have to give up any weapons. Denver has leverage. Green Bay doesn't have nearly as much as they think. And if you're Aaron Rodgers, be careful. You want the team you go to win the trade. Don't corner Green Bay. Don't jam them up against the wall. You don't want that. You want the team that gets you. You don't want a Carmelo Anthony. This or that. I'm leaving if I don't. You want the team that gets you to win the trade. Also, it should be noted, if he went to Denver, not only would Aaron Rodgers not be a Super Bowl favorite, they would not be favorites to win their division. Aaron is closer to the Super Bowl in Green Bay this morning than he would be in Denver tomorrow morning. And that's with the current Bronco roster. What if they have to give up multiple pieces? Makes it even harder. There's always comparisons made between athletes. You know, in the NFL, general managers ask their scouts, give me a comp, give me a high end, a low end. And that's what you do. That's Rich McKay, who now runs the Atlanta Falcons, the president. He taught me that years ago when I covered the Buccaneers. I asked my scouts, best case scenario, worst case scenario, who is this player? And so that's an exercise teams use. In basketball, you get that similarly. And we always make comparisons. I've always thought the LeBron MJ stuff, it's actually a credit to both. What it's basically saying, because their games aren't the same. It's basically saying these are the two best players of all time. That's what it's really saying. It's not about anything else, is that LeBron's the first guy we've really ever discussed a lot with Michael Jordan. LeBron and Michael Jordan, because LeBron's so good. But I saw a story yesterday. Damian Lillard, great player for Portland, one of the 5-10 best players in the world, said, Kevin Durant really, when healthy, could be the best player in the world. It's all about offense, though. He doesn't defend like LeBron at his peak, doesn't pass like LeBron, doesn't lead like LeBron, not as physically sturdy as LeBron. But the NBA players love other players' offense. You know what Kevin Durant really is to me? He is Wilt. That's his comp. Remember, Wilt started with the Globetrotters, then went to the Warriors, then went to the Sixers, then went to the Lakers. In an era, players were not mobile. He was. That's Kevin Durant. 1 year at Texas. Then he goes to Oklahoma City. Then he goes to the Warriors. Now he's at Brooklyn. He is Wilt. He is an unstoppable offensive force. He's flaky. Great player, but never really seen as the face of the league. The personality doesn't work. In the end, he's going to have some titles, but you always wonder, why weren't there more with Wilt? Kobe, of course, has always been, and this one's not even arguable, Kobe is MJ. Intense, similar size, actually had the same coach in the same system, killers, winners. They were all about the W. They were all about winning. They were confrontational. They get in your face. LeBron doesn't. LeBron, of course, is magic. Makes everybody better. Probably the best passing big I've ever seen in my life. They're great businessmen. Everybody likes kind of playing with them. Everybody's best years were around Magic. Everybody's best years are around LeBron. Lots of finals, win some, lose some. Both are number one picks. Massive pressure on both. First night in the league. Westbrook is Iverson. Hyperspeed. That's like blur. That's what they should put on the back of Westbrook's jersey. Blur. Intense. You got to kind of build a team around them specifically for what they are. They're iconoclastic. Don't get along with all teammates. Very difficult to play for them. First ballot Hall of Famers, but a lot of credibility among players because they're just so intensely, naturally gifted. But KD's kind of Wilt. I mean, for all the greatness of Wilt, we've talked about this before. Wilt not only scored 100 points in the game, and he played for a long time. He scored 80 several times. He scored 70 a dozen times. You couldn't stop Wilt. The average center was 6'8". He was 7'1". Wilt would be great today. Wilt would be great today. But he's only 7th all-time leading scorer. Why doesn't he have more titles? Because Wilt, like KD, was a wanderer. You're just kind of wandering through life, enjoying life, doing a bunch of stuff in life, happy with a lot of things in life. Sometimes felt a little tortured, a little flaky, great, often argued the best player in the league, but you never really felt like he was the face of the league because you couldn't really depend on Wilt all the time. Bill Russell was a rock. You could depend on him. Kareem had the skyhook forever. Magic, Michael, Kobe, even Shaq and his craziness, you felt like you could build the league around them. Not really with Wilt and not really with KD. So, first of all, I always kind of laugh when players talk about best player in the league. Yeah, KD's unstoppable. How come we never talk about leadership and health and defense and making others better? It just gets lost sometimes on players. And secondly, there's all these comps for everybody. And this is not a shot because Wilt is the first superstar I ever saw. I was on a bunk bed, top. Blazers, Lakers. Wilt was old. He had a headband. The Blazers couldn't stop him. He was like the first great player. I had newspaper clippings around my room. I think Wilt was eventually replaced by like Elmore Smith for the Lakers. It's like a trivia question. But KD can't stay healthy, and he's not really dependable. And I think he's going to end up much like Chamberlain, which is a lot of titles, but not as many as we think he should garner. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.